I think D&D players, myself included, can get very comfortable with being able to like take long rests whenever you want. You know, you go, has it been long enough? Can I just take a long rest? You know, I'd like to get my spells back. I'd like to get my health back. I'd like to get all of my resources back again. But I think adding a bit of stress can be a lot of fun. So I have two examples for this, one in which I'm a player and one in which I'm a DM. For a campaign that I'm playing in, my DM has run this whole, you have to save this country and you only have, I think he gave us like 2 weeks in game to do it, so we had 14 days. I could be wrong, I can't remember the exact number because I was like sick on and off and trying to keep notes, but it was intense. And we're kind of like at the end of it. Like, I think we have like a day and a half left, but we've had to be really strategic with like when we long rest. And there have been a couple of times where we've been like going to the next objective, being like, we need to get there as soon as fucking possible, because if we don't, then the end of the world could happen, and that obviously would not be good. So we've had to run a few things on like at least a point of exhaustion, which can make things a little bit difficult. Now, when I DM for Curse of Strahd, I do start my players in Death House. And the way that it's written, like, you can just kind of leisurely stroll through, and it doesn't really matter. There aren't too many consequences, and yeah, sure, like, maybe the monster can come up and get you, but is it really that much of a threat? So I give the players 6 hours in game. As they enter into Death House, they get a little poem that says that they need to get to the monster or escape the house by midnight, or the monster is going to eat them. I've had players who've taken this very seriously and who have sprinted and been like, how can we get there as quickly as possible so that we can solve this issue? How can we escape with our lives? And miss chunks of the Death House. And I've had other players who've also missed chunks of the Death House, but it's because they decided to take their sweet ass time exploring. And obviously when you explore and when you search and when you want to go through everything very meticulously, that costs time. It's something I'd like to include more in other campaigns. Like, for example, when I run my Call of the Netherdeep campaign, I think a time aspect would make things a little bit more intense when they're in maybe the Netherdeep, maybe Betrayer's Rise. I'm not sure. I'm still kind of playing around with a few ideas. But when people have the option to go in and out of a dungeon, or, you know, back and forth, or just like set up a tiny hut and do a long rest because there's no consequences, it can make things drag on a bit. And I think putting a time limit, even just an in-game time limit, can create a sense of urgency in the players that says, this needs to get done or something bad's gonna happen. So I'd like to do more of that. Do you do this in any of your games? Have you played with it in any of your games? Let me know.